Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today, on the occasion of Ekadashi, as we always read from Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita, so we are continuing that custom of reading from Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita. In particular, Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita's this book, I'll Build You a Temple, the Juhu story, which is authored, compiled by His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namaham Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we will be reading from this book, and somewhere in between, little bit we will be speaking. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from page number 86. Chapter is Arriving on the Scene, a Good Fight. Section is October 1970 to October 1973. Page number 86, last paragraph. Prabhupada wrote Mahamsa, you may give Dravida as much help as he may require to canvass big men in Bombay for collecting the foodstuffs. It is very important that important men in Bombay cooperate with us in this prasad distribution, and they will be always very glad to give for our worthy cause. I expressed my appreciation of Dravida to Prabhupada in a letter. Quote, Dravida Prabhu has matured very greatly by taking on big jobs as temple commander and in charge of prasada distribution. Even life members attend regularly. Unquote. And in my next letter I wrote, I have given 2 men to help Dravida Prabhu in the food distribution program as Douge and George alternate. One going out with Dravida Prabhu for collecting foodstuffs, and the other Prabhu remaining to help in the kitchen and oversee the actual distribution to the people. After a brief slump, the attendance for noon prasadam is again up to 50 to 60 daily. Jagat Purush Prabhu is the head cook. 3 weeks later, Dauj was initiated as Dhumrakesh and George was initiated as Gokula Chandra. Prabhupada replied, "So far as foodstuffs, you should collect profusely. If you collect more, distribute more. And if you collect less, distribute less. But only distribute what you have collected. If there is no food, do not contribute our own funds for this purpose. Try to collect more." A Christian neighbor, Anita, who later joined our staff, was a fortunate recipient of prasad. Quote, "Actually," she recalled, "we used to come here for prasad. They used to have prasad distribution, and we were staying in this village. And this used to be on our way to the Juhu beach. Then, whenever they used to be distributing the sheer flat rice, chida flat rice, or suji halwa, we used to come and take. Once," she added, "I had a glance of Srila Prabhupada." Brahmananda recounted, "One evening, Prabhupada was giving out prasad to all these kids. I said, 'Oh Prabhupada, let me do it.' And I went to take the plate from him. Prabhupada looked at me and said, 'I will do it.' He was actually giving mercy. That was his mission. This is our program, to worship Krishna and take Krishna's prasad." In New York in 1966, it was an apple, a cut apple, and here it was just some fruit and halwa. But this was Prabhupada's program. Very simple, but very deep. And Prabhupada gave it his full attention. He wasn't doing it in some offhand, quick way. He was very deliberate. Vishakha added, "Prabhupada pointed out in his talks that even well-to-do people would come to get this prasadam. They didn't need it. They weren't in need of food, but they valued it as something spiritual, something that could help them in their spiritual life. And this, Prabhupada said, was the purpose of prasadam. It's not just an altruistic activity that we give prasadam to poor people or destitute people. We can do that, but prasadam is for everyone, because spiritually we are all poor, we are all destitute. We need this mercy from Krishna, and Prabhupada was very generous about it. The children would sometimes come 2 or even 3 times, and Prabhupada would smile and wag his finger at them, but he would give them again and again. As Smriti Warrior remembered, in the temporary temple, after his lecture, Prabhupada used to give prasad. He would give it once, and I would still stand there, and he would motion, "Go away," and I would still stand with my hand, "I want more." We like everyone, Prabhupada explained on a morning walk. We do not reject anyone. A dog cannot understand the philosophy. Therefore, we call him and give some prasadam. Therefore, prasad distribution is one of our programs for everyone. Yes, we are not neglectful. Because he is a dog, therefore he should be neglected. No, he should be given. In our glossy brochure, we advertised prasad distribution as part of the Juhu project. Quote, there is this specific statement in the Padma Purana. A person who honors prasadam and regularly eats it, not exactly in front of the murti, along with charanamritam, immediately can achieve the results of pious activities which are obtained through 10,000 performances of sacrificial rites. Unquote. Quote, whoever comes to Hare Krishna land, whether curious, distressed, in need of money, or wise, one and all are invited to sing, dance, and feast on sumptuous prasadam. This process of Krishna consciousness is so sublime that just by partaking of prasadam, it is possible to make advancement in spiritual life. Our massive prasadam distribution programs are being continued regularly for any hungry living entities. In this way, thousands of people, regardless of their position, are being joyously fed. Muslims, Christians, and Hindus, rich and poor, are sitting side by side and accepting the remnants of foodstuffs from the Lord. The whole material world is full of hungry living beings. The hunger is not for good food, shelter, defense, or sense gratification. The hunger is for spiritual atmosphere. The foolish leaders cannot see that even the people who are most sumptuously materialistically satisfied are still hungry. And what is that poverty? This hunger is actually for spiritual food, spiritual shelter, spiritual defense, and spiritual sense gratification. Such things can be obtained in the association of the Supreme Spirit, Lord Sri Krishna. So this is from Srila Prabhupada's purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 1.12.6. So in this section we can see Maharaj is very much pointing out the importance of Prasadam distribution program. So I remember once His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj was telling one experience. I think in New York it was, or somewhere Rath Yatra in US, I believe. So Maharaj was telling that his Christian missionaries had come to, dissuade us from conducting the festival, Rath Yatra, etc. And in between they were showing small, placards or small board or something at, stop this or go away, we will attack you or something like that. Throughout the parade, they were like little hostile in the mood. Then by the end, when Rath Yatra completed, so then Prasadam was going on in full swing, So Maharaj said, I saw all of them, having a big plate of Prasadam, sitting in one side, sitting in a circle and having nicely, happily Prasadam with their face, very joyful, nice, delicious Prasadam. And all their, anti-publicity cards, they were all upside down in one corner, lying like rejected. So Maharaj was telling, Prasadam wins everyone. At the same time, while distributing Prasadam, we can be careful. One devotee was sharing that His Grace Madhu Sevita Prabhu shared this personally, that in Mayapur, 1973 or 74, so big Prasadam distribution program had started. Rice and khichdi and prasad, dal and whatever, sambar, whatever. So then Srila Prabhupada observed, or it came to his notice, that some of the Bengalis, they are taking the rice in big pattal, in the plate, leaf plates. Lot of rice they take, they put, and then they carry it away to their home. So then Srila Prabhupada told Madhu Sevita Prabhu to do this seva. What? So outside the Prasadam hall, they put a turnstile. You know what is a turnstile? Sometimes you have seen in public places, at the entry point, there is one iron frame put which rotates, ensuring that only one person can enter at a time. You have seen that, all of you? Raise hands. How many have you seen? Okay, you have seen. You understand that. So Srila Prabhupada had that put at the exit of Prasadam hall, so that only one person comes out of the Prasadam hall. And then Madhu Sevita Prabhu was told by Srila Prabhupada that you stand here to check everyone's plate, that they should not carry any prasad to home. Why? Because they will mix with non-veg, fish and rice, prasadam, and then they will take. So they will mix prasadam with non-veg, and that will be an offense to prasadam. So Srila Prabhupada did this to stop this kind of. So while distributing prasadam, we can also be careful what all Srila Prabhupada has expressed caution, so that instead of doing benefit to them, we may end up doing harm to them, offense to prasadam. So we can be careful. And prasadam distribution can always be accompanied with kirtan, like that. So then, like in train, sometimes we travel, many times beggars come asking for something. So devotees that I have seen always that they make that person say Hare Krishna and then give them prasadam and then request them that you take it, don't throw it. You take it right now only. Or at least say Hare Krishna and then take it. Like that. So we can make them say, because you're giving them something. Nice prasadam. So if you tell them to chant Hare Krishna, they will chant Hare Krishna. And when a Vaishnava is telling to chant Hare Krishna, so they will get the mercy of the parampara to chant Hare Krishna. And their spiritual life will begin. And of course, prasadam se bhi start ho jayega, spiritual life. But by saying Hare Krishna, that is Yoga Dharma, they will immensely benefit. Nahin? After appointing me temple president of the Juhu project, Srila Prabhupada was also, while contending with many other formidable challenges, faced with the task of training me on the job to be a manager. Even though it wasn't really my nature, for me, dealing with so many devotees was a challenge. Many were senior to me, many were more materially qualified than I, many were new to me and new to India also. And many had natures, backgrounds, conceptions, and moods that were much different from mine. And being as inexperienced and unqualified as I was unable to engage and satisfy the devotees as Prabhupada would have wanted. Jai Shri Shri Radha Rasa Bihari Gaur Nitai Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman ki, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai, Sarvashila ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. And so, within a month of his leaving Bombay, Prabhupada was endeavoring by letter to train me to actually lead and manage, to mold me into a more useful instrument in his and Krishna's hands. He sometimes said that the first duty of the leader or manager or government was to see that everyone was engaged. Nar Narayan being one example. 3 days after his directions to me about the gardening, Prabhupada wrote again, chiding me and instructing me how to manage and engage the devotees. And after explaining my duty as a leader, he also delineated the followers' duties. So we can see His Grace Adbhut Hari Prabhu and students of Prabhuji plucking flowers for Radha Rasa Bihari every day. Very nice. Srila Prabhupada wanted that, seva to be done. Even recently, His Holiness Haridhar Swami Maharaj was speaking about this, that how Srila Prabhupada expressed or wanted that devotees who should personally cook for the Lord or do gardening for the Lord or pluck flowers for the Lord. Right? Maharaj was saying this. Like that. He knew our natures, and he was simultaneously engaging and training us all. I have received reports from Ahamsa and Chavan, he wrote, and it appears that they are doing nicely. Some of the men, however, are complaining they have no sufficient engagement. 2 girls have already left Bombay, and their complaint was that they had no sufficient engagement. Similarly, I have received letters from Puranjan, Vardhan, and Atmaram, and either they are not willing to work according to direction, or otherwise, how do they complain there is no sufficient engagement? I think there is more than sufficient engagement for everyone. We have got so much to do. We have to deal with so many men with different personalities. So kindly utilize their energies and at the same time keep them satisfied. That is leadership. If one man is appointed as leader, all must follow him and be obedient. Obedience is the first law of discipline. They are pointing out irregularities, but they themselves are not doing their duty. So they are pointing out the irregularities in others. They came to serve, now they don't want to serve, so there is some excuse. Oh, irregularity, let me go away. The workers should not suggest irregularities. So this is very, very important. Srila Prabhupada is expressing his concern that how different devotees in different teams, in different mandali of service to the Lord, Shri Radha Rasa Bihari, Shri Gaur Nitai, Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, they are the king or the boss or the head here. And the different devotees, whomever they may be, from new devotees to most senior devotees, all are servants of the king. And all should cooperate with each other to provide the best service, the best pleasure to Radha Rasa Bihari. So Srila Prabhupada is expressing that this is leadership. What? To utilize the energies of different devotees and at the same time keep them satisfied. So this is not easy. Those who are having that kind of service profile, so they know it. It's not easy. It is very, very, very tough. Very, very tough because demands very high degree of surrender and demands very high degree of maturity and very high degree of far-sightedness. How the mission will work, how the devotees will grow, how the devotees will feel satisfied. So it's not an easy task, it is the toughest task. And of all the services, this is the toughest. So generally we should be very much mature when we are doing any services for the Lord Radha Rasa Bihari Ji. This very basic minimum training. Even in the outside organizations, many of you would have worked in some company or the other outside. And almost all the companies, they have some training session before you actually land on the work floor, when you get on the job. And in that training, they will tell you, minimum that, okay, how you should conduct yourself when the task is given to you, how you should be responsible in your task, how you should be updating the progress of the task assigned to you, etc., etc., and how you should be behaving. Even I remember, so they train in the companies like this, how you should be walking. In the companies, they will train you that while walking, you should have your coat, blazer, right? So your blazer or any file or your laptop, you should be having in the left hand. Because while walking, if you happen to cross an important man in the company, a manager or regional head or somebody, so you may want to shake hand with him. So your right hand should be free. If your right hand is engaged, by the time you shift things to shake hand with him, he may just go away and you may lose an opportunity to strike a relationship with a big man. So they even train you in these fine things. And then they will train you that while you're having your lunch in the office. So, table manners, right? And how you should be dressing on Monday and how you should be dressing on the other days. And how you should be, everything they will train. Such external, superficial things they will train because you are working in a reputed organization. So you should be knowing all these things, right? So similarly, in the spiritual domain, ISKCON is a very, very highly reputed organization, or probably, one of its kind, providing the purest spiritual knowledge and the purest parampara to connect us with God. And Srila Prabhupada did say to Giriraj Swami Maharaj in Juhu that after my departure, ISKCON would function on the basis of organization and intelligence. And especially this is the office of Srila Prabhupada. So we should also be very much cooperative and understanding the spirit of, I remember once many years ago, around few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. So I suddenly got a call that some devotee is sick or something happened. Morning, 5:15, 5:30. Somebody came and told Prabhu, you talk on the phone. I said, okay, fine. So then I came to know that devotee is having big physical problem, something. So I was in anxiety. Then I was sitting with Vishnu Datta Prabhu outside in the lobby, morning 6 o'clock around. So I was sitting on the sofa with both my feet on the sofa. Because, that's where you normally you feel more comfortable, somehow, Indian style. So I had both my feet up on the sofa and I was sitting like that there in the lobby. Just that time, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj came down the stairs to go for his walk, as prescribed by doctor. So Maharaj saw me. So he started speaking something from distance. But then I could not hear, because Maharaj was quite afar. So the first thing I did is got down from the sofa, offered obeisances. Then I approached Maharaj. Because I anticipated that Maharaj would be asking what happened, why you are sitting here, why you are not chanting in the temple room. Always Maharaj expects. So I approached Maharaj telling Maharaj, this is some devotee, some health issues have come, serious. Just now I came to know. So Maharaj said, oh, okay, please take care. But then Maharaj said, I was telling that don't keep your feet on the sofa. Keep down. Oh, yes, Maharaj, yes, Maharaj. Then I offered obeisances, then Maharaj left quickly. So then I remembered that few years before that, once a devotee was sitting here on this book table, on the chair he was sitting with his feet up on the chair. At that time also Maharaj had corrected that devotee very politely, very humbly, that Prabhu, please keep your feet down. And that time Maharaj had told him, doesn't look good way people are coming, doesn't look good that you're sitting like your feet up on the chair, doesn't look, So then I understood that, Maharaj is correcting that you're sitting in the office of Srila Prabhupada in the lobby where all the guests and visitors are coming. So you should know where you are sitting and how you should be sitting. You're representing Srila Prabhupada and in this office of Srila Prabhupada, right? So you cannot be sitting like you are sitting in a village, on some folding bed in the sunshine. You should know where you're sitting. So the point I'm trying to make here is that that when we are not working, I'm using that work word, but we are serving in this office of Srila Prabhupada, and that too in a big organization, and that too the headquarters, one of the major headquarters of this organization. So this general, all forever spirit of augmenting or what is that word? Supplementing or augmenting each other's service. That mode should be there rather than complementing. Yeah, that was the word I was looking for. So this mood should be learned inculcated and trained by our personal behavior and by training of complementing each other's service. Otherwise, it will become very difficult to manage this kind of organization or this kind of huge temple where dozens and dozens of different teams of devotees are serving, in different times, different capacities, different areas. So it is very, very important, this maturity. This is one devotee was showing very nicely. This is complementing to fill in the gaps. And this is competing. So in competing, what loss happens is that the gaps of both the parties are still as it is. So the gaps are not full. But when we complement each other, then the gaps are, both parties benefit. Because the gaps are, fulfilled like this. You understand? So it's very important, Srila Prabhupada is expressing this here. That always having this, a manager is one who looks up to his own area, his own service, his own results, his own accomplishments. A leader is one who will look at the larger picture of the objectives of the mission, objectives of the organization are getting fulfilled or not. So that is the difference between manager and leader. So Srila Prabhupada always wanted that, we should have good leaders. Right? I think here also this word has come, leader. Anyways. So the leader is one who has this maturity to see that, okay, even if I complete my service, like in a cricket team, whoever is batting, if he is more concerned about his century, that I should score a century, rather than the team winning, then nobody will appreciate. He is foolish because you may score a century, but you are so foolishly selfish or short-sighted that the team has lost because of your concern for century. Now the team wants that you try to shoot a sixer, because then the score will be there and then you will get the trophy or victory. But then you are more concerned that I need only 2 scores or 2 marks, 2 runs for my century. So let me score carefully 2 score rather than the team needing a sixer. So then nobody will appreciate and you are foolish. Similarly, a manager is like that, who will be more concerned about his results, his accomplishments, his proving his might or his prowess. But a leader, even if at the cost of his loss, he will be always concerned about, whether the mission of Srila Prabhupada is progressing, right? Like recently in the Vyasa Puja ceremony of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, His Grace Rama Rupa Prabhu was appreciating not His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, but another devotee in relation to His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, very, 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 very wonderfully. So Prabhuji was telling about one devotee, Srila Prabhupada's disciple Gopal Prabhu, if I remember the name correctly, that at one point in Calcutta, some opposing people were there who were wishing that ISKCON should not flourish here in Mayapur. So they lodged a complaint in the police that, these people are wrong people or something, some complaint. And then the police had to, all the police knew that they are such selfless, simple sadhus, but police had to now take action. So the police came to arrest His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj or whoever the leader. So at that time, Gopal Prabhu, His Grace Gopal Prabhu, he said to Maharaj that, no, you are doing such major work here. If you go away, then the whole, progress of the work project will stop. So you be here, I will go and I will tell that I am leader. So let them arrest me and put me in the locker for 1-2 days or whatever, few months. But so that the work Prabhupada's project here will flourish. Let me be fine, no problem. And actually that is what happened. That the police took him away for 3 months. And because he did this sacrifice voluntarily, willingly, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj could continue the progress of the project. How many of you remember this? Rama Rupa Prabhuji glorified this way. Anybody remembers by chance? One devotee remembers. So similarly, there was one devotee who recently departed, who used to stay in his last years in Vrindavan, His Grace Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu. So he was so humble in his initial years, 1970s, in book distribution. So there was one point that devotees were distributing books. And they knew that today the police may come and capture some of us and take us to that why you are distributing books. So this Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu, he was so simple in those days that he could not distribute books actually ever. So the temple president told him, see, if police comes, then you do this seva. That you get arrested, and because they have to arrest somebody, so you get arrested and fulfill their need, this seva, so that we will distribute peacefully. So Bhuvaneshwar Prabhu agreed for this seva actually. Okay, fine. I cannot do anything properly. Let me get arrested. Let me be engaged in Krishna service in this way. Similarly, we can see this glorious mood of total surrender in the life of his Srila Ramanujacharya. When his disciple Quresh, he said that, oh Acharya, you be saved, I will get arrested and go to the Chola king, Kolatunga or what, I think name, and let him punish me. But you be saved and you promote the mission of Lord Chaitanya or Lord Ram or Lord Krishna, Vishnu, like that. So this spirit, understanding is very, very important of complementing the mission of Srila Prabhupada. If we wish to see that this most merciful Mahavadanya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Krishna consciousness movement extend far and wide and reach out to millions of people, giving this cooling shade. Or Sri Nityananda Prabhu's lotus feet. It's very, very important. This is what Srila Prabhupada is emphasizing here in this letter to Sri Giriraj Maharaj. That devotees should have this spirit. Above all, he reminded me and all of us of our greater mission, our higher responsibility to reclaim the fallen souls on behalf of Krishna. So actually we have taken a very responsible task on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he wrote. Just when I am reading this, on the last point only which I was speaking, I remembered just one practical example from our own place here. So His Grace Nalini Kanta Prabhu was telling me a few months ago or maybe 1 year ago or something, that one day there was this Abhishek festival, I think Sita Navami or I forgot, some festival. And our His Grace Kalacharan Prabhu. So he also wished to go for doing Abhishek of the Lord. So then he took bath and got dressed in the pure fresh clothes, uttari and dhoti, tilak, everything. And he was just about to leave the room in the ashram to come here for altar and Abhishek. Just then he got the call that there is some issue with the sound system here. Some mic, a wordless mic or something is not working or something. So Prabhuji, please come and sort it out. So then Kalachan Prabhu said, okay, I'll come. Thinking that, okay, I'll do that seva and then I'll go to the altar. But he came here and then the whole time went in setting up that system. And the whole Abhishek got completed. And Kalachan Prabhu happily did that seva. Not that he was, cribbing. What is this? These people are useless people. No, he just happily sacrificed. And he came and did the whole seva. Complimenting, Now the need is not that I go and accomplish my desire of putting Abhishek on the Lord. That will not please the Lord more. Rather, here assisting devotees in their need to serve Krishna by glorifying in the mic. Let me do that seva. And he sacrificed his desire of this. He happily did that seva. Like that. So like this, we have devotees around us. We just need that eye to see them and learn this spirit of sacrifice and surrender for pleasing Guru and Krishna. This kind of surrender behind the scenes is most pleasing to Krishna. Most pleasing to Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed Dukhi. Not because she was coming in the front and putting water on the deities or putting that juice on the deities. No, but because in the back room where nobody even knew that this kind of person exists. So she was doing very, very heartfully, very carefully this, bringing pot from the further back room to the front room ka gate pe. She was doing this seva so heartfully, so satisfactorily, with no desire to come in the front camera or something. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being Antaryami, he knew this. So he said, call this Dukhi. And then Mahaprabhu gave her Krishna Prema. So this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so most attracted to. Mahaprabhu saw Pratap Rudra Maharaj, doing this very menial service of brooming the streets. And Mahaprabhu gave him most special darshan of Sankirtan in the whole 7 parties. And by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we can also see that today. How? You can go to Tota Gopinath temple in Gambhira in Puri. So when you enter the temple, on the right side, big wall is there. So on the big wall, you will see the biggest painting of this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, of dancing Leela in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Jagannath's Rath Cart. So in that painting, you will see 7 parties and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in all 7 parties dancing. So you can see also there in that painting. So very wonderful. So we will read a little bit more, then we will stop. Quote, at the present moment, to speak the truth, the whole population of the world are demons and animals. It may be very strong aspersion on the people of the world, but this is the fact. But still, because they are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, so originally they were pure. And therefore, it is the mission of Krishna to get back his parts and parcels to home, exactly like a father likes to get back his son at home, because this son had gone out of home for false happiness. But the people are so mad. They are talking so many nonsense things, nonsense philosophy, nonsense science. And our task is to meet all of them and at the same time pacify them in their lunatic condition. So I am sure you are a very good soul to act on behalf of Krishna and do it nicely. Krishna will give you the proper intelligence. He is sitting in your heart. Simply, he wants to see us working sincerely. So if we are working sincerely in the spirit of complimenting each other devotee in their service to Krishna, understanding what will bring Krishna the most pleasure, impressing others and pleasing others, apparently externally may look like same, but the difference is day and night. When we wish to impress others, then the center of whole consciousness is me. I should be in the front. I should be recognized. People should identify me. They should know me that I did it, so that they will be impressed with me. So that is impressing others. May look like pleasing others. But in pleasing others, the whole onus, the whole focus, the whole central thought is about pleasing the other person or pleasing Krishna. And when somebody is actually having this attitude of pleasing others, pleasing Krishna, not impressing others, impressing Krishna or impressing seniors, impressing Guru, then only he'll be able to think like this, in the mood of complimenting others, in the mood of whatever is required, let me do it, so that eventually it will bring pleasure to Krishna. Let me assist this devotee behind the scenes, so that the seva be done properly and be offered to Krishna and bringing most satisfaction to Krishna of this selfless service done behind the scenes. Right? So this is the heart of pleasing, and other is the heart of impressing. So nowhere Srila Prabhupada has written in his books, we want to impress Krishna. Yes, in one purport Srila Prabhupada writes that we should be recognized by Krishna. But that recognized is not that we want to be recognized in the way of impressing Krishna. That recognized word Srila Prabhupada is explaining or expressing is with the mood that we should work hard so much behind the scenes or whatever is required, complimenting, assisting others, that Krishna recognizes us just the way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recognized Dukhi, or Srila Prabhupada would recognize Jayananda Prabhu. Not that Jayananda Prabhu will come, pushing everybody behind and then, yes, Prabhupada, I am Jayananda. No, but behind the scenes he will work hard so much that Srila Prabhupada will tell, bring Jayananda Prabhu. Until he comes, I will not start the class. So this is what it means to be recognized. Whereas at the airport, when one devotee, he came late and Srila Prabhupada in the waiting lounge was sitting on the sofa and 50 devotees in front of him sitting on the floor. And this big leader of that temple, local community, when he came and he wanted that I am the leader, I should be near Prabhupada. So, jumping or like hopping above the devotees' feet or devotees, and he's pushing aside devotees. He came and sat in front of Prabhupada. I should be recognized by Prabhupada. So Prabhupada did not even look at him. So this is not what Prabhupada mentions in the purport, that being recognized by Krishna. No. But being recognized just like Dukhi or Jayananda Prabhu. So this is the mood of pleasing. And the other is the mood of impressing. Where everywhere my concern is that I should be in the pictures, I should be in the videos, I should be in the front, I should be in the known thing. That is a different thing. That is not what pleasing necessarily may mean. We'll just complete this paragraph, then we will stop. Oh, this paragraph, okay, is completed. So today is also Nirjala Ekadashi. So, maybe just 2 minutes I'll speak about Nirjala Ekadashi. So, although Srila Prabhupada never very strictly said that devotees should be following Nirjala Ekadashi, Nirjala, at the same time Srila Prabhupada also emphasized very emphatically on the mood of tapasya, austerity. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says, Yagya dana tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. So yesterday only I was listening one lecture of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was telling Yagya for brahmacharis and dana for grihasthas. And then Srila Prabhupada said, but what they will give dana today, charity, what charity they will give? They struggling to even maintain their one small house. But then again Srila Prabhupada said, no, still the grihasthas must give charity. And then Prabhupada said, tapasya is for vanaprasthas and sannyasis. At the same time, we know all the devotees in their sadhana bhakti is very important element is tapasya. Srila Rupa Goswami, when he is giving 64 limbs of bhakti in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, so one of the limbs, very surprisingly, is what, it is, 31st limb is that observing the festivals of Krishna painstakingly, working very hard, taking all their trouble, very gorgeously, very elaborately. So this is one of the limbs of bhakti, 31st point, Rupa Goswami says. So in that spirit we celebrate Nirjala Ekadashi. That let us use our whole time, whole energy, no eating, no sleeping, no mating, no defending, nothing. Whole time, let this day be today, be given fully to Krishna. Whole day chanting Hare Krishna, hearing Krishna Katha, spending time with Krishna. That is the meaning of Upavas. Upavas means, Upa means near, Vasa means reside. To reside near Krishna. How? In consciousness. And whole day chanting Hare Krishna, whole day reading Srila Prabhupada's books or Krishna book or Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, or hearing Krishna Katha, or cooking for Krishna, or whole day spending the consciousness, touching the mind with Krishna. We should have the festival of touching the mind with Krishna by different indriyas. Through eyes also you can touch mind to Krishna. Through nose also we can touch Krishna, the mind. And through tongue also by chanting Hare Krishna. By ears by hearing Krishna attentively. So that is the spirit of Nirjala Ekadashi, which Srila Prabhupada wanted us to follow. And whatever Hare Krishna. So whatever best possible we can try to observe total fasting. Once some youths were telling, one youth was telling that, Prabhuji, I did yesterday Nirjala Ekadashi. Oh, you really? You are such a new devotee. He said, Prabhuji, I only ate. I did not drink anything. Whole day I kept Nirjala. So another time some youths said, Prabhuji, today we went to, yesterday, Hare, you did not come for program yesterday. Prabhuji, we went to watch movie. Hare, I told you, always you should be in association. Yes, Prabhuji, you told us we should be in association. We together went for movie. So that should not be the spirit, in Nirjala Ekadashi. So the spirit is this, that, spending time with Krishna, and then as much as possible we can keep a total fast and push ourselves. We should push ourselves. We should try to push ourselves to observe the fast. Even if little pain may be there, fine. For Krishna, we should push ourselves. Otherwise, then we push our mind. Never. So these are the days. And generally in India, you have seen most of the people have some tendency to keep some vrata, some upavasa, some rituals. So these are the days where we can engage this tendency in this way of keeping full day upavas. Give yourself this target. Whole day upavas, no drinking, no water, nothing, no food. And just chant Hare Krishna or distribute books or glorify Krishna. Like that. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. I'll build you a temple, the Juhu story book ki. His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki. Jai. Thank you very much. Any devotees have any thoughts or comments or any questions by chance? No? Yes, Prabhuji. We could complete 4 or 5 pages today of the book, although I had wished at least 6 pages. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for wonderful class.
Hare Krishna.
How can we keep Krishna always in the center of our life? Means actually sometimes fluctuation comes, sometimes like unfavorable condition comes at that time.
Yeah. So in normal general life, while working, while studying, Krishna has answered this question in Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, shloka number 27. Yat karoshi yadashnashi, yat dadasi juhoshi. You may be student, but then the marks you get, with which you get a job and then you get money. So you use it in Krishna's service. So that way. We are not so renounced, nor so scripturally learned that we develop this internal total in dedication to Krishna's mission, that either as a Grihastha or as a Brahmachari, we dedicate our full time to Krishna's service. That may not be the case with everybody possible. But then Krishna says, with the senses, whatever you are earning, name, fame, wealth, whatever, engage it in Krishna service. If you earn all that and use it for your service, then it is sense gratification. Then that will bring karma. But if you use all of that in Krishna's service, all the work done religiously, not that you do stealing and robbery and then you bring Krishna. No. Whatever, properly you do the work, and whatever you get, use almost all of it or as much as possible of it in Krishna's service. So then gradually not only in your work, but in your consciousness, you will see that Krishna thoughts will be filled very, 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 very fast. Very fast. And then some tough situations may come. So yes, Srila Rupa Goswami allows, in very tough situations, life-threatening situations suddenly may come pop up in front of us. So that time praying for protection of the body is also accepted within the realm of pure devotional service, is not rejected by Srila Rupa Goswami. Why? Because the other times you are using this body and the wealth earned by this body in different ways, you are using all that in Krishna's service. So the instrument for that service, if you are begging Krishna to protect that instrument in sudden and helplessness, it's okay. It's accepted. No problem. Fine. Does that answer your question? Okay. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki. Shri Shri Radha Rasi Bihari Gaur Nitai Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman ki. Nirjala Ekadashi Vrata ki. Shri Harinam Prabhu ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.